Dean, welcome. Familiar surroundings in your home changing room?
Yeah.
How's it feel?
Yeah, it's weird being there on a day when the boys aren't here.
No match, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll ask you a question. So if I said to you, Dean, tomorrow you're going to go to war and you've got to take two teammates with you, who are you going to take and why would you take them?
I think I'd have to take Alan Julian. Just being friends off the pitch, at least in the midst of chaos, we'd be able to kind of lean on each other. Who else could you take? Mason, I think, just for his physical attributes.
Yeah.
Big, strong, quick. And yeah, I think I'd go Mason and
Do you
Jules.
think he'd look after you?
I'd like to think so, and I've chosen him.
What about Jules? Think he'd look after you?
Yeah.
Would he be good for morale?
Yeah, he's a father figure, isn't he?
Yeah.
Everyone kind of looks up to him, and I don't think he'd leave a man behind. So yeah. I'd go Jules.
Good. And what does teamwork mean to you?
All striving for the same result.
Yeah.
All pushing towards the same target, and just all trying to achieve the same goal.
And when you come in here on match day and you look around the change room, you've got Jules sat over there, you used to sit there. When you look around the changing room, what's going through your head?
When I get here, I normally get here about 12:30, 1:45 on a game day, and I normally just have a little routine where I just have a chat with the boys and don't really think about the game. But then 10 past, 1:15, Mel will be doing his team talk, and then from that moment, it's like you just flick into game mode, and then it's kind of just preparing and like mentally just going over things and just kind of making sure you're ready to go.
When you say you mentally go over things, prepare yourself, I mean, I've often wondered what you guys come in here and, it's nice that you're all physically in the room, but I sometimes wonder mentally where you're at because, the day before the match, the morning of the match, mentally, you don't know how, or other people don't know how you've arrived here. So how important is it to you to clear your head? Because I always say to people, if you're going to go and do something that's mentally challenging, try and unplug all those negative thoughts, negative feelings, or even worse, negative people that are in your life. Unplug it and just leave it on the floor, leave it at the door. How important is that to you?
I used to get really nervous. Like the morning of the game, I'd wake up and I was thinking about like through the morning for drive to the game, whether it's home or away. But the older I've got, the more I've just kind of learned to not overthink, not worry about the game. Like we've trained all week, we're prepared. Just trust that process that you're ready. Yeah. And then when I get to the game, like I say, I have a chat for 15 minutes, I still don't really think about it. But then when we've had the team talk, that for me personally is when it's right, let's get into it. And 9 times out of 10, because I played in this league for so long, I know who I'm playing against. So I'll just be going over in my mind when I last played against them.
Yep.
Their strengths, their weaknesses, how I'm going to get the better of them, and just kind of things like that, really.
So do you know, looking around the change room, do you know kind of if people are not in the zone? Can you tell from when they warm up to when they come in here, people's body language? Yeah,
you can tell, but then where you've got so many new characters, when you go into a season, it takes a while to get to know them because that could just be their way. Mm-hmm. That could just be their way of decompressing before going out to play a game. But 9 times out of 10, you look around and everyone's pretty focused, with us anyway this season.
You mentioned an interesting word there, decompressing. What does that look like to you?
Just after a game, again, when I was younger, if we won, it would be the best feeling ever all weekend. If we lost, it would be the worst feeling ever all weekend, and you'd go over it and over it. Again, it's something I've learned along the years, you can't change what's happened. So you've just got to learn the result's a result.
Yep.
You'll go over it Tuesday in analysis with Mel and what went wrong. And so there's no point letting it ruin your weekend because you're just going to be your own worst enemy. You're only going to start thinking, I could have done this, I could have done that. but that's no good for you because you're not going to be able to sleep. You're not going to be able to.
And that's something you've learned later on in life, or did you, when you were younger, did you manage to down regulate your emotions?
No, I was quite bad. Like, it used to ruin my weekend like all the time. Like, I used to, like, honestly, I used to like, I used to hate losing more than I liked winning.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I get it. Yeah.
So the longer it's gone on and the longer I've played, I've just you've got to have a goldfish memory in football, because otherwise you're just gonna drive yourself crazy. Night games are the worst because your adrenaline's still so high.
Buzzing, I imagine, after the game.
And trying to sleep after a night game is just horrendous.
Yeah.
Because if you've won, you'll be thinking about the moments and the celebrations. And if you've lost, you'll just be thinking, oh, could have done this, could have done that. And if you've drawn, you'll end up be thinking, we could have won it with this chance. But your mind just switching off after a night game, I've always struggled with.
And what kind of point did you think it switched from, letting it ruin your weekend to accepting it? What sort of age were you? How long ago was that?
A few years now. Like I'll speak with Jules after games a lot, and we'll go over little bits. But he'll never consume the weekend. We'll then just start talking about fantasy football or just something in the Premier League's on a Sunday, just to take your mind off it. But yeah, I'd say the last few years I've just learned that you can't change it.
Yeah. And what kind of advice would you give to a young you when you first started playing, to try to get through that process quicker? Or, on a weekend, what did you do if you lost? How did it kind of ruin your weekend?
I think just more in myself. Yeah. Like, I'd just constantly be going over it in my mind. And I'd be, whether it's with the family or the girlfriend, you're present physically but not mentally, and you're
in the room but not.
You're just kind of thinking about the game, and it's no good. It's not.
That's why it's interesting you say that, because when I was saying about when you turn up for a match, you're physically in the room but mentally you're on another. You can be on another planet or somewhere else. And it's interesting when you're going to do a challenge, a mental, physical, that you get somewhere and you have to clear your mind and all that clag and all that crap that's in the back of your head. And that's one thing, as I said before, saying to people, did myself, was unplug all that stuff you don't need before you go into whatever you need to do. Get yourself in battle mode.
Yeah, see, for me, it's strange, because with football, no matter what is going on in my life, as soon as I cross the white line, whether it be training or games, everything just seems to disappear. Yeah. And for that 90 minutes, that only thing that I want to do is win. And it's like the biggest release. Like, it's like a mental break. Like, if you've got some personal issues going on, as with friends or family or relationships, as soon as I cross the white line, like,
nothing else matters.
Nothing else is even a thought.
Yeah.
It's such a good mental release.
A break. It's funny because I used to think like that as well. Whenever I used to tune myself into, if we were going operational, we were going to war or whatever, I used to just forget about everything else because nothing else mattered at the time. It sounds quite harsh when you look back on it. You almost like, you sideline your family and your friends, and you kind of not forget about them, but you put them in a space where they're safe, and you just go do what you've got to do.
Yeah, that's literally it. And it's more of a subconscious thing, I think. I don't sit there and think, right, I'm not going to think about this, it's upsetting, I'm not going to think about that. It's just football my whole life. It's always been, as soon as I cross the white line, like, that's all that's on my mind. There's one job, and that's to win. Or whether it's training, it's just train as hard as you can and get ready for the game.
And how important is being part of a team to you?
Yeah, massive. I often wonder what it would be like if you're a tennis player, for example, when things aren't going wrong. Things are going wrong on the court. It's just you. You've got to pull yourself out of the trouble you've got yourself in. But with a team, things happen in football. People make mistakes from the top level to our level. You've got a team to help pull you out of the trouble you've got yourself in, whether it be someone else with a last saving tackle, or whether it be Adam in goal pulling off a save to
inspire everyone around you.
And then you see someone on the pitch do something, whether it be a crunching tackle that just makes you think, right, yeah, here we go, let's go. And it gives you that extra little percentage to be like, right, come on, we've got this. But in an individual sport,
tough.
Very tough.
Yeah. But I suppose those guys have got, once they're on the court or whatever they're doing, they've got a whole setup of people around them. But once they're delivered to the court, they're on their own, as you say. It must be tough for them.
And if it ain't going well, then it's completely up to them. There's only so much they can do or say from the stand. But yeah, I love being in a team sport.
How do you think how many years do you think you've got left playing in football? Forever, you say?
Yeah, I'd like to think a few. At a decent level, but I still think even after that I'll play vets until someone tells me you can't
run anymore.
I'll probably even then I'd join a walking football team. So, but
fair enough.
But it's one until like physically my body says right, enough's enough, and then it becomes derogatory to my health. I think I'll try and play for as long as I possibly can.
Life outside football, then, what does that look like? How do you relax? How do you chill out?
On a Saturday after a game, I normally go around my girlfriend's, whether it be going out for dinner with like some of her mates or going out for a few drinks after, if we haven't got a game on a Tuesday, of course. And just spending time with my girlfriend really, and just chilling out and watching the football on a Sunday.
Which team do you support? Are you allowed to say on?
Arsenal.
Arsenal, really? Yeah. Well, they're doing all right, aren't they?
Yeah, we're doing all right this year with good result of the weekend. So hopefully this could be the year we lift the title again.
And what about Hampton and Richmond? Where are we at now? Where do you think?
Obviously, after the bank holiday weekend's results, Mel just had us in the change room and just said, look, we've got a 2-point head start in a 5-game league. And it's probably a perfect way of looking at it.
Yeah.
There's 5 games to go. You've got 2-point head start. Don't fall out of the playoffs. You're only going to regret it yourselves. And I think if we didn't make the playoffs now, I think all of us in the change room this summer would just be full of regret. Because we've been in such good position for a lot of the season. I don't think we've been out the playoffs for months. So yeah, it would be a massive regret. So hopefully we can, in the next 5 games, get the points needed.
And when you come in here at half time, how are you lifted up? I know Mel comes in here and he probably lifts you up, but who else around the team lifts you up? And how important is that? Those influential figures. Because it doesn't have to be the captain that does it.
No.
It could be anyone on the team.
Yeah, we've got a few boys that will always kind of demand more. And I've been around football so long, it's funny because you have certain people that I don't particularly shout and scream, and obviously you have the odd occasion where you have people that are annoyed or angry for whatever reason. But I've never really been like a shouter, like in the changing room. I'll just kind of sit there, just get a drink, just relax for a few minutes, and then you'll have Mel that will come in. And sometimes it's strange because when you're watching a game, it's so different to being in a game. Like there's been times where I thought, Jesus Christ, we've been terrible.
Yeah.
But then we've come in and Mel said, look, we've been brilliant. And then he'll break it down why. And then you're like,
yeah,
it's a fresh set of eyes that are looking at a complete different perspective.
Yeah. He stood back.
And you're like, yeah, he's right. And then it almost think, if we think we've been bad now, but we actually haven't, we know that we've got another gear or two that we can kick on and go out in the second half and get a result.
Yeah. So Mel, obviously I come in for the team talk at the start and, impressed the way that Mel gets you all ready for a game. He's got a very calming influence and he's very straight with you. He tells you what you should be doing and how you should approach it. So, you're in good hands, I think.
Yeah, because, again, like you have some managers that will take the approach of screaming and shouting and demanding, but
that's not Mel's approach, is it?
No.
But Mel will, if he needs to. I'd imagine he will if he needs to.
It's been very few times this year that he actually has, but I think if you take the screaming and shouting approach nowadays, you could mentally lose players.
Yeah, and not only that, if you keep screaming and shouting. You normalise it, and people get used to you screaming and shouting.
Loses the effect.
Yeah. So
because the times that Mel has, people sit back and go, "Oh, we must have been bad, or we must have done this," or because it's not a regular occurrence. And I just like Mel just gives players the freedom. Mel has always said to the
go express yourself, and to
the more flair players, I will never have a go at you for trying something in the right areas, of course.
Yeah.
But if it's a winger trying to take on the fullback and he loses the ball, a lot of managers might scream and shout like, "Do bad, this, that." But Mel won't. Mel will just say, "Give him the ball again. He'll beat him."
Yeah, that's really good because you got to take the handbrake off, haven't you?
Yeah.
And let people go sometimes. And when you look back on your different managers you played for, who have been the influential or the inspiring ones? You don't have to name names, and who's not been so good. Can you think of a time where the managers have absolutely killed the changing room? Don't have to name names.
No, I think obviously for me personally, Alan Devonshire gave me my debut at Hampton when I was a young kid, and he put his trust in me to play men's football at 17. So I'll always be grateful for that, and you kind of you sink or you swim. And he carried on playing me, and I started doing okay, and then from then become a regular. And the toughest time was probably at Billericay. It was chaos at times.
A rudderless ship type scenario, or it
was just, without going into too much detail, it was just chaos at times. You just never knew what you was going to get. You never knew what mood it was going to be.
Was that kind of around the club or with one specific manager? Or?
Like it was obviously like the owner and the manager at the time. It was, when he was good, he was brilliant. Yeah. But when he was bad, it was a tough place to be around. Yeah. And a lot of players kind of fell victim to that and couldn't cope mentally with his demands. Yeah. And then you saw him fall by the wayside. Yeah. Like it was just,
when you say demands, you mean on the pitch or?
Yeah. It was just win at all costs. Like it was, if you didn't win, you
had your weekend ruined.
Big time. It was a tough time mentally, but I had a great time there. Your mum's there. Like we won the treble, which was a massive achievement with everything going on around the club at the time. So it was a great time, but a very tough time.
Good time to learn your trade, I suppose, as a young lad. How old were you then?
25, 26, around that age, 20, 26, 27 kind of age. But you learned then, if you can deal with that, I can deal with anything, football. Because that was a very unique experience with what was going on. And to be fair, since then, like nothing has fazed me with football because
you've been through it.
Yeah.
Do you think you make a good manager?
I've never really wanted to be. It's never something that's.
It's not on your radar probably at the moment, but I'd imagine.
No,
later on in life maybe, or if you want, or would you like to be a coach? Because I know Jules is currently kind of going through that transition. Yeah, and he's enjoying his role at the moment. He is, I think.
So he loves it. His like attention to detail. Like he's done the courses, and I was chatting to him when he was at St George's, saying like just how much he's learned. And I don't know. For me, I don't like not being in control. Yeah. Like on the pitch, if something's going wrong during the game, like I can help put it right. I just think as a manager, it must be so tough when you can see it's not working, but you physically can't. Yeah. So I've just
But if you go back to what you said about the manager watching it from the sideline, a different point of view, when you get in here at half time, that's your point, your time where you can put it right. So is that not something that kind of interests you in life?
I don't know. I'll be honest, I've always said I just wouldn't want to be a football manager. I don't know why, just because like
pressure.
Yeah, and it just, I think management consumes your life more than what playing does. Because like for example at Hampton, we had the game Monday. We go home with our family, with our friends, and we just chill out.
Yeah.
Whereas Mel will be watching the game over and over and over.
For the next one.
To get the analysis ready, to show us where we went wrong. And I just think it consumes your life so much. I don't know, it's just not something, I don't think I'd enjoy it.
Yeah, you're right. And, the kind of, when I spent a bit of time at Chelsea, and the backroom staff and the management absolutely get hammered. They work hard, they do, because the players go home, and the medical staff, players are in, everyone might have a day off. Players, some of the injured players are in, medical staff are constantly at it.
Yeah.
So it just keeps going and going and going. It's difficult for them.
Yeah.
I don't think people see that sometimes. Football is a sport is generally really busy.
Yeah.
All they think is, people think, you turn up for a game, play a game of football and go home. It's not quite that easy, is it?
No.
Even before home games, Premier League sides are staying in a hotel the night before. So it's
hours of work.
Yeah, hours of work. Heck of a lot. Yeah, wow. Okay, so what does the future hold then? Promotion this season, and then
that'll be the best way to end the season, would be getting the playoffs, because I think when it comes to the playoffs, we've got a hell of a chance with the detail that Mel puts into opposition, puts into us. We'll have every opportunity to go and win them playoffs, but then you've probably got 4 or 5 clubs that are saying the same.
Yeah.
It'll be tough, it'll be competitive, but hopefully we can end up.
And I know that you just want to win every game as you go through the season, but now it's coming towards the end of the season. The playoffs is, it's getting serious. And how do you guys handle the pressure of that?
I know it sounds cliche, but it literally is just one game at a time. I think, looking at the table, I think out of the 5 games we got left, 3 wins and possibly a draw would probably do it, depending on other results. We've just got to win the next game and then go into the following week, which will be going in a position of strength, because we're already 2 points clear of the chasing pack. That could be extended, it might not, but we'll be the team in the position of strength. And we've got a few of the boys coming back that have been injured, so they'll make a big difference for us going forward. So hopefully that we can just
win each game as it comes.
Yeah.
Get to the end of the season.
Yeah.
Hard work, dedication, and see where it goes, eh?
Yeah.
Better be careful what I say, because Mel will be watching this.
Yeah.
Dean, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thanks very much for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
In fact, I've got one more question. Next season, tell me about where you're going to be next season.
So this will be my last season in England. Looking at, I've already got the visa and everything sorted to go over to Australia. It was kind of like a now or never situation. And I think at the age I am now, with obviously the plans with Hampton, with what they want to go mornings next season, I wouldn't have been here. And I just thought, where I am in life now, it would just be an amazing opportunity to go over to Australia. Yeah. My brother lives there. My niece obviously lives there. So, and it's just an amazing place. I've been a couple of times, and it's just excited to see how that goes and try and play some football while I'm over there. Been looking into a few things. So, it's exciting.
Local clubs, same kind of league set up over there for you? Or?
Yeah, theirs is split into like NPL Queensland, NPL Victoria, NPL New South Wales. It's all very like state kind of split.
Okay.
Because it's so vast, obviously you can't be flying around like non-league teams out there. So
get the Hampton minibus to from Perth to Sydney.
Yeah.
Arrive 24 hours later.
Get Malcolm driving me down there. But no, excited for that. Be ashamed to obviously be leaving the club. I've spent so many years here. But looking forward to it.
And how are the fans? What would be your sort of memory of the fans over the last few years since you've been at the club?
I think when Dev gave me my debut, they probably thought, who is this skinny kid? And why is he playing for Hampton Richmond? But then they've seemed to kind of take to me over the years, and they've been brilliant. they didn't like me very much when I come back here and played against them.
Really? Oh, because sure. Is that from Billericay, was it? Or
I was at Maidenhead the year we won the title that year. I come back and I scored at Hampton. I almost went off to celebrate, but then I've managed to
calm yourself,
to break on it and not celebrate. And they give me a lot of stick when I come back as an opposing player, but then when I re-sign, they've been nothing but brilliant. So
that's great.
Nice
well done, mate. Take it easy. Right, thanks a lot. Cheers.
No worries.